Marvel Rivals was announced early last year in 2024, with rumblings around what the game was going to be. It didn't take long for it to be shown off, and the collective consensus was that it was just going to be Overwatch, but with Marvel characters and the IP. While this game is essentially Overwatch, I think it does have the chance to surpass it in many ways due to the pull of the IP and the direction that the game seems to be taking. Since the game's launch in early December, you would think that the player numbers would be trending down as the hype wears off. But Rivals has actually seen the exact opposite of a cooling off period, with the game breaking its peak concurrent player counts and topping out at just over 600,000 players, and that's just on Steam alone. Personally, I've clocked in around 60 hours since launch, and while I thought the initial launch was good, I was having a little bit of fun, but it wasn't until the release of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman in Season 1 that had me hooked and playing the game more than ever. Rivals does have the benefit of a giant audience that has seen and watched a number of the Marvel movies or the Disney Plus spin-off shows. Then you have a subset of people who could care less about the Marvel shows and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they just want a fun game to play. What Rivals has been able to do so far is show that yes, hero shooters are still games that people like to play, even with some of the past live service failures we've seen over the last couple years. It all just boils down to the game being fun to play and the character designs to be aesthetically pleasing. Not only are the character designs and skins kick ass in this game, it's just fun as hell to play. And I think that if NetEase can keep up the momentum, Rivals has the chance to be special in 2025 and beyond. As I do with all my reviews, I like to have a little bit of a technical block to start out. I went ahead and I played the game on PC running an RTX 4080 and an i7 13700K with all the graphical settings at their highest possible values, and I got a pretty consistent 144 FPS. Technically speaking, I didn't encounter a single crash in my 60 hours of playtime, and only once did I have to restart the game, and that was just due to an audio issue, so good to report on that front. Graphically, the game looks great, but I really do think that boils down to the art style here. Each character, each location has its own distinct feel, and at least early on, it doesn't seem to be like they're copy pasting anything, which sounds ironic considering the nature of this game. And yeah, if you've played Overwatch, the premises, the nature of this game is going to feel very similar. But the way that it plays and the way that you're able to interact with the characters and the way that the game treats the characters, especially the team compositions, is vastly different than Overwatch. But in terms of the actual technical performance, Rivals gets an A from me. It's not a wild or inaccurate statement to say this game quite literally took the internet by storm when it was released. I know I briefly touched on the player numbers at the top of the review, but it's wild to see them still holding this strong out from launch. Season 1 has been a great first season with an event that kicked off the launch, and then there's actually another event going on right now until I think the middle of February. These events usually come loaded with free skins, sprays, emotes, tons of currency that you can earn, which is something this game does seem to be doing a lot of, but that's going to go a long way in the good graces of the player, considering how this game is going to go about making money, but a little bit more on that in a later section. When you hop into Marvel Rivals, you have the option of playing in a quick match playlist, which is going to have you doing a payload escort mission, or you're going to be defending a point against the enemy team. These are pretty standard. There's no real way to get one or the either. You just kind of have to roll whichever one you get. You also have the ability to hop into a pretty competent ranked mode. I personally don't see myself putting too much time into that at the moment, but it's there for you. There's plenty of rewards like skins, sprays that are all exclusive to reaching a certain level in ranked as well. There's even a free-for-all mode that takes place in and around the Sanctum Sanctorum, so that can be fun if you want to hop in, just slay out with a character. And if you want to practice with any of your other characters, there's a really detailed practice arena that the game has with different sort of areas and levels so you can test out damage ranges, team ups. It just allows you to maybe get the hang of a character. It all might seem like a lot at first, but if you ever want to know how a character really plays or what their kit is going to be like, usually I just hop into this practice arena. You can also press F1 on mouse and keyboard. That does bring up a little tip sheet. I'm not sure what it is on controller, but the tip sheet will give you basically an overview of all their abilities so you can better understand what they do. I know, like I said, Rivals can seem a little intimidating and frustrating at times, but I truly do believe it boils down to playing the game and finding out what character that you really end up liking. For instance, Magneto is my favorite character in the MCU, and I don't think I've played more than 15 or 20 minutes as him. While I know he can be a good character, his playstyle and his kit just isn't something that I really am liking at the moment. Maybe down the line I'll come around to it. Now, circle around to Mr. Fantastic, a character that he got added in season one. Didn't really think anything of it. Something about his kit, his playstyle, I love it. He's a duelist, but he also has the ability to turn into a pseudo tank in some situations. Then he has an ability where he can negate all damage and then redirect that damage back at your enemy. And then lastly, you can actually take his main attacks, and I'm not sure many people know this, instead of just doing straight punches, you can kind of swing them side to side. You can actually drag and get multiple attacks and multiple damage hits on enemies, which is nice. So you might not find your main right away or even this season, but keep on checking back and trying out the different characters because they're bound to be a role or a character that you're able to click with down the line. And the amount of characters that they have at their disposal here with the Marvel IP is enough to keep this going for longer than I think the game will be around for. One of the big things that Marvel Rivals has going for itself that Overwatch doesn't have, and I think that more games could benefit from implementing, is the team up function. This is activated when you pick any number of characters from the team up selection. So, for instance, when I'm playing as Mr. Fantastic, if I have an invisible woman on my team, I get an extra ability that can grant me shields as well as passive health regen, and I won't have that ability unless she's on my team. Then you have another one where if there's a Venom and a Spider-Man, Spider-Man actually gains access to the symbiote and he can use it. Then there's one with Scarlet Witch and Magneto where she gives him access to a metal sword that does increase damage at range. There's tons more that I haven't talked about and I won't sit here and talk about them all day. You can read up on all of them here on the team up section and what they do. So when you're looking at your different characters in the game, I'm sure this system is something they are going to evolve and add to so much more down the line as time goes on. I'm just thinking in my head about all the different characters you can choose from, how they could be added to the already massive list of team ups. It's a really cool idea, and I think that they have a really great foundation here to build upon. I just would love to see possibly all the different characters that you maybe, we don't know down the line. I'm thinking of like a Thor and Iron Man one where Thor is able to like charge Iron Man up, kind of like in the movie. Spitballing here, ideas, but it's cool how they might be able to also add characters down the line to already existing team ups as well, possibly to further expand them. Like most games in 2025, Marvel Rivals has a battle pass, and just like your normal battle pass, it's going to run you about 10 bucks, with the higher tiers sitting in around 20 to $25. But if you've been around gaming the last 5 to 6 years, you know how battle pass works. You pay them money, you then play the game, you do challenges, and in return, the game will then give you some skins, emotes, and some currency. I will hand it to Rivals because the quality of the skins here in the battle pass are pretty good. There's a couple of recolors, but there's also some pretty sick ones like the Rocket Raccoon one, the Magneto one, the Moon Knight one, the Loki one, to name a few. The cool thing is, once you purchase this battle pass, it never expires, and that is for all future battle passes as well. We might give Halo Infinite a lot of shit, but they did one thing right, and that was by having a battle pass system that never expires as long as you've purchased it. That then makes me feel a little better about purchasing that battle pass because then I don't feel the need to crunch within that 90-day time period so that I don't feel like I'm wasting my $10. The other ways NetEase is going to go about making money, and I mean oodles of doubloons, is going to be through the in-game skin shop. Credit where credit is due because Rivals has done something that both Avengers and Suicide Squad failed to do, and that was by having popular and iconic skins ready to go out the gate. You have Wolverine's iconic outfit from Deadpool and Wolverine. You have Wanda's outfit from Multiverse of Madness. You have all the classic outfits for the Guardians from Guardians 3, Iron Man's outfit from Endgame, Spider-Man's outfit from No Way Home, and tons more to check out. I'm sure there's going to be a load more to come down the line. Basically, if that character is in the game and has been in an MCU movie, you can bet your ass that they're going to get a skin. The skins are priced akin to something like a premium Fortnite skin or a bundle in Call of Duty, but they do usually come with a couple other goodies like a unique MVP scene, emotes, and an emblem to boot. Now, you might think you have to shell out some cash to buy these, but you're actually going to be able to use two types of currencies to pay slash unlock for these skins. One is going to be a paid currency, then the other is going to be one that you can earn by doing challenges or through the battle pass. So eventually you'll be able to unlock a skin or two, but it's just going to take you some time. I personally have no problem with the monetization process, and I think that the designs and the art directions of the skins are on fucking point, especially when you look at how some of the other games have handled them. I'm sure down the line I'll be dropping some money on some skins, especially if they give me Magneto's outfit from X-Men 97 or Days of Future Past. Maybe when one of those drop, I'll finally play Magneto, but they'll get me when they get those. Marvel Rivals has been scratching that PvP itch for me and my group of friends as of lately. It's a game that we can get all six of us together, just have a good time, whether it's for a long haul or just for a few matches to shoot the shit and have some fun. The different game modes and characters that are on offer here help keep the gameplay fresh, and maybe when you've been playing as one of them for too long, you can go ahead and change it up. And really, what you'll be doing in here in Rivals is pretty simple, but there's plenty for the player to grind, whether that's different ranked modes or just the quick play modes. Rivals could not have dropped at a better time in gaming. Just like what Deadpool said to Wolverine,
You're joining at a bit of a low point.
the same could be said for Rivals joining the hero shooter genre space, a market that has been so diluted and competitive that literally saw a game tank so bad that it shut the servers off within weeks and closed the studio. While Concord wasn't a colossal bad game, it just wasn't anything special. It was a very generic game, and that's what Rivals has the benefit of being and having the Marvel IP. It doesn't look generic, it's stylized, it looks great. You're able to see so many familiar faces from the Marvel IP and the genre, and maybe just maybe one of those characters can catch your eye and get you to download and check out the game and give it a shot. If you aren't already playing Marvel Rivals, I hope that I could convince you to maybe give it a shot. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Also, consider subscribing if you do enjoy reviews. I've got a couple more coming out along the way. I'm working my way through Atomic Heart's third DLC at the moment. I'm also going to be possibly playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That one's still TBD. But then I also have Avowed coming out on the 13th. So if either of those games interest you or any of those games interest you, go ahead and ring that bell to stay up to date. And as always, if you did make it this far, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day. And this has been my review for Marvel Rivals. Thank you for watching.
When worlds are about to end, that's when those with great power rise to the occasion. Defeating two Dooms and saving the multiverse won't be an easy job. But if anyone can make it happen, it's this crew. And I can't wait